Southwest delegates. And when we got there, a lot of the delegates were unhappy and didn't want to meet with me. And the problem was that they had met Moghalu just the day before. He had invited 3 delegates per state to come to Lagos to meet with him. And after the meeting, he had given each of the delegates 20,000 naira. This money didn't cover their transportation and hotel accommodation, so they were extremely upset. So in my meeting with them, I apologized on his behalf. I said, tell you what, right? Moghalu is a fine gentleman. Every politician has a bad day. So you guys shouldn't take it out on the party by reacting that way. And I remember that I had done what we call a shegware, on behalf of Moghalu to the delegates, and giving them $900 on his behalf, just to say, listen, that was a bad day for him. Whilst he invited 3 delegates per state, in all my meetings, I asked them to invite all the delegates, all the voting delegates, because I wanted to interact with them. So typically, I will have an average anywhere from 14 to 25 delegates per state in my meetings, because I wanted to feel the pulse of the delegates, hear what their issues and concerns were, understand what their issues with the party was, and understand the local situation, how properly structured the party was. And after each meeting, we'll set up WhatsApp groups because I wanted to interact with them on a daily basis. And trust me, these guys know how to interact. And in the course of that interaction, I got to know them on a first name basis. I know their family members. I know their wives, Some of them in the north would say, oh, they will pray for me. Oh, you really care about issues. My house is filled up with foodstuff. These people will send me, So they saw me as one of them, someone who cared for them, and we talk consistently. So coming into the election, coming to Abeokuta, at some point the party had said, for all aspirants to be on an equal footing, that the party will bear the cost of transportation and accommodation for the for the delegates. Now, we're talking about over 2,000 delegates, and we all knew that the party was not financially buoyant enough to do this. Okay, so the expectation was that the aspirants will contribute. Money towards this process. We were 12 aspirants, and when we felt the pulse of the aspirants, only 2 people. One lady contributed at 10 million naira. And it didn't seem like the other people wanted to. I believe maybe Moghalu did at some point later, but it seemed like no one was keen on doing that. So we felt if they were not going to do that, it's best we then deal with the delegates directly. So the aspirants, those who could, transported delegates to the convention venue and accommodated them. My campaign personally, every state delegation that reached out to us, we supported them. We got to the place and we accommodated as many as possible. I believe we accommodated over 85% of the delegates, irrespective of who they were pledged to. For me, all I was interested in was having a very successful convention. On the eve of the convention, I hosted all the delegates. In that hall, I had about 1,620 delegates. Most of them pledged to my campaign. And, came in there, and everyone could see that this house was for me, right? And at some point, I called them and said to the state chairman that I love the energy I'm seeing here, but I want to make something clear. I hope no one expects that I'm going to pay money for votes, right? And some of them said, this is what the people expect. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this. That this is a commitment between in our party that no one's going to pay for any votes, so I'm not sharing any money. Okay, I made that clear. All the state chairmen were in this meeting. A vice chairman, Dr. Aghogho, was also in that meeting. And you know what happened? This happened at about 3 a.m. the morning of the convention. As at between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., some of the other aspirants who are crying foul went and started visiting delegates hotel by hotel, giving them money to vote for them. my campaign head, these people were begging me, you have to respond, you need to do something about this. I'm like, I won't respond. I want to believe that when people tell you that they are for you, they are really for you. I was the last person to arrive at the convention venue. They had also put out information to the delegates to say I had pulled out of the race. Okay, that was not true. I got there, and when I got there, my heart sank when I walked into the venue. It felt to me like I had lost the race because I didn't do what was expected of me, but I just wanted to trust God that, I had done the right thing, what I committed and what all aspirants committed to doing. Right in the venue, as voting started, we saw people canvassing and negotiating and transacting for votes right there. It was happening there. At some point, the MC kept on calling a particular aspirant that they are going to disqualify you if you don't come back into this venue, right? A lot was going on there, and I was watching with dismay. I sat down there watching, and I said to myself, you know what? I have run a good race. If I lose, I lose. My commitment is to the party.
Right.
So I asked my wife to get my laptop for me, and sat there and started typing my concession speech. Okay. And to the speech, I just said, thanking the party and everyone and saying, to the winner, of course, I didn't know who was going to win, committing myself to supporting the candidate and the party and pledging my donation for their campaign. Okay. So I did this, not expecting that I was going to win. And because the first 1 or 2 states that voted,
right.
One of the states I believed that they were with me, but when they were filing past, I saw from the body language that they were no longer with me. So that's why I typed the concession speech. But later on, I started noticing that those people who were passing were kind of like, they saw me probably looking downcast, and they would shoot thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, So I started feeling, I might still have this.
Right.
I might still have this. And towards the end, when a lot of the northern states were coming, I just realized, I think I have this in the kitty, right? So when they started counting, and I kept on hearing Dumebi, and I just realized, that's actually the goodness of man. There's still goodness in man, right? If you give that opportunity to come out. Okay, so that's what happened. That's how I won. I did the work with the delegates. I was out there in the field with these people, and there was absolutely no vote buying on the part of my campaign whatsoever. We want this free and fair.
Right. And
okay, that's what happened.
Absolutely. And I thank you for your frankness and transparency. And they say the rest is history. And Dumebi became a soundtracker like Rema the musician in that hall. I wonder if you've met him yet. But despite that, I'm sure that I don't know if your party is in the same quandary like several other parties in how you will choose your vice presidential candidate or running mate. A number of parties seem to be in disarray and how this will emerge. Just a lot of talk of identity politics. Are you in the same quagmire, or you found your way out of this one?
So for me, I'm looking for a candidate who brings who has a bit of experience, a candidate who shares the same values I share. So I'll quickly tell you what my values are. I believe in one Nigeria. I believe that we should demote and demote every talk of tribe, tongue, and religion in Nigeria. I believe we should promote meritocracy. Okay, I believe that we should aspire to have a common charter that binds all Nigerians, a common vision that we all aspire to, that unites all of us under the green of our flag. Okay,
right.
So I'm not a proponent of zoning whatsoever. I'm not into any of that. Okay, so I want a candidate that has the same mindset, the same belief, or the same value system that I have, right? And in looking for a candidate, you also have to be strategic also in terms of getting numbers. Okay, and what have you. So I have narrowed down to about 3 names. I am in consultation. Okay, I want to ensure that whenever I announce the name of the candidate, that it's someone who's going to be acceptable, someone who can do the job. The vice president is a president because he's one phone call away from being the president of Nigeria. So I am mindful of what goes into this decision. Okay, so it's a consultative process is ongoing right now, and in the next 2 to 3 days, I will make that announcement.
I want to deal with the politics before we get into the real issue. I can imagine what the number one issue on your table, if you were elected president, you would have to deal with. I just saw something happen. I'm sure that will probably be number one on the list. If you're watching, you probably have a clue. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We have the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Dumebi Kachikwu. He's called himself the dark horse, but appears that he's done his homework and has emerged as the party's candidate ahead of next year's general election. And our countdown to 2023 series. You can send us messages on WhatsApp 0809597585. It's the general feeling Dumebi among the people about how the parties will have to form coalitions to be able to win the election in 2023. All of them who have been emerging, they've been asked the question, will you have to form a coalition, or you want to go this on your own? What are your thoughts in terms of forming a coalition? And of course, it will lead us to the interesting concept of a third force.
Well, I think a lot of people who don't understand the politics of Nigeria, I think people who are not in the political arena, they always talk about this coalition, you know. The real issue we have in Nigeria is the Nigerian people, okay?
Right.
And when you talk about a coalition, is it a coalition of the Nigerian people or against the Nigerian people? Because the truth is that on that ballot, right, we'll have Buhari and his government. We are there to vote against Buhari and his government, against all their failed promises, against all their failures. But at the same time, the Nigerian people are going to be on the ballot because the Nigerian people actually, to a large extent, put Buhari in office. And these same Nigerian people are to determine who is going to lead us. And these Nigerian people have an apathy to government and governance. They are absolutely not interested. So you can form 10, 20 coalitions. You can form one coalition. As long as the generality of Nigerians have this apathy towards government and governance, as long as they are not determined to exercise their democratic franchise, okay, their patriotic duty, is still the same story. You still have these big parties who have huge sums of money, who can buy votes in the rural areas, okay? People like you and I hardly ever vote. We are 40, 50 million man strong. If we were determined to vote, we will set this nation on a different trajectory. But we don't do that. We have picnics on election day. They say today's election, that's the day a lot of us want to have all these picnics and what have you, you know. We don't want to go out and vote. 2 reasons we always give. We say there's going to be insecurity, and we say your votes don't count. Those are the 2 main reasons people give. And the 2 big parties promote that because they don't want you to vote. They know the day you decide to vote, they will be out of office. You can see what's happening with PVC's registration right now, okay? INEC says go register for PVCs, but the same INEC seems to be frustrating those who want to register for their PVCs because they know that if all these people register, they will vote out the government in power, right? So the Nigerian people will be on that ballot. We are going to be telling the world who we are. We've complained for too long. We have an opportunity to set Nigeria on the right path, okay? What will we do in 2023? We will be on the ballot and the world is watching us.
So you're not interested if anyone walks up to you, whether it's from any of the 2 parties or any of the other parties, to say, Dumebi, we want to do some horse trading with you. What do you think?
So tell you what, horse trading has to be towards a determined end or goal. Okay. If as a party we have the same value systems, we want the same for Nigeria, right?
Right.
We are willing to talk with all like-minded parties. Okay. I am not in this race for the sake of getting power. It's not about that. I'm in this race because I'm tired of living in a country that does not work for everyone. It certainly doesn't work for me and my family. I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of hearing the same story all the time. I want to see a difference in my lifetime. And I realized that for too long, I have been part of the people who all they do is complain. I want to be part of the people who are willing to do something about this. Now, what you will notice anytime, like I tell people, Nigeria is like a burning building, right?
Right.
Arsonists have set this building on fire, and then you have a multitude trying to put out the fire. But in the midst of that fire, right, the same people who set out the building on fire are there trying to put out the fire. And you wonder why. Why do the usual suspects who destroyed our country, why is it in every election season, they come out instead of hiding their heads in shame? Here's why. Anytime you have chaos or anarchy, area boys thrive. They come out to loot. So these usual suspects, this is the opportunity to loot because there's anarchy in Nigeria, there's chaos, and they come because they know it's always an opportunity to loot the treasury, okay?
Right.
So am I going to align myself or form a coalition with the people who set Nigeria on fire? Absolutely not. Now, there are people who I say are probably like-minded people who we can work with as long as we have the same value system, as long as our goals are the same. Why not? But ultimately, we have to be close to the finish line too, because you know what's going to happen is that Nigerians are going to process all the parties, all the candidates. And as they process and refine you, people will be clear as to who the different candidates are as we get closer to the election. Okay? And at that point, we all know ourselves and we'll know those who are like-minded and those who are not. Then discussions at that point will begin to make sense if we should have those conversations. Okay?
All right, maybe we're going to go on a break, and enough time at least for people to walk around a little bit and get their thoughts well arranged. Maybe grab some soda, popcorn, guguru, ekpa, kuli, anything that makes the boat rock. When we come back, Dumebi will talk to us about the thing if he was woken up first thing in the morning, that he sets him aside from all of the other candidates who have emerged ahead of next year's general election. Dumebi Kachikwu, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, will be with us right after this break. Please stay with us on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Tasty and yummy. Taste the fun. Call all your friends now. Enjoy your mini-me noodles. Mini-me noodles. Taste the fun. Mini-me noodles. I really love it so. Mini-me noodles.
Mini-me, taste the fun.
What if I tell you that banking can be way easier than you know? Introducing the Key Mobile app from Keystone Bank that makes banking in today's world as easy as a click of a button. Imagine being able to open a fully functional account within 2 minutes, getting your debit or credit card delivered to you within 48 hours, and increasing your transaction limit. Shop and make payment in style using the NQR code feature. Simply scan, verify, and pay. Plus, the transfer feature allows you send money to phone numbers, withdraw or deposit cash at the nearest branch or agent location, and settle transaction disputes while sitting on your toilet seat. Download or upgrade the Key Mobile on your mobile devices from Google Play or Apple Store today. Key Mobile. Go branchless.
Many people are in business, but not everyone means business. The people who mean business never say no to money, cash, card, or transfer. These ones grab business opportunities with their full chest. Keep an eye on things that matter, like people, cash flow, and how it all adds up. They do not only know their onions, they know their numbers. They mean business. With Number, you mean business. Visit www.number.com, that is NOMBA, number.com to get started.
Relax, recharge, and take a break this summer. Find the best summer holiday deals to Dubai, London, Cairo, Florida, and many other amazing cities on wakanow.com. We've got you covered. Book now on wakanow.com or visit any of our travel centers near you. Take a break. Pick a city. Wakanow. Let's go.
I find the strength I need every time that I look into your eyes. And when the night comes, you hold me in your arms and you say, I'll never let you go, my sweet baby. You'll never let me down. No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
Show me love. You show me love.
Hey, Yami, my name is Shegun, and I be village man. All of una way like to blame us village people because una business they do well. Say una think say we no get our own issue. I beg you, we village people no get your time. Check yourself first.
Village people aren't the reason your business isn't growing. Introducing Money Point, a business bank that helps you realize your business dreams with easy access to quick loans, ease of payment collections, and general business management tools. Visit www.moneypoint.com and let's help you power your business dreams. Money Point, powering dreams.
Wondered how luxury feels like? Try the Amari Grandeur, a luxurious 5-bedroom semi-detached duplex designed with exotic lifestyle in mind.
Imagine waking up to the sounds of nature, walking into the fully equipped gym while your kids experience happiness on the playground. Imagine smart living and quality family time.
Close to the Novari Mall, Green Spring School, and many more. With 7 million naira initial deposit and a 12-month payment plan, the Amari Grandeur has your name on it. Visit www.theamari.com or call 0812-674-6450 or 0816-761-2497.
I find the strength I need every time that I look into your eyes. And when the night comes, you hold me in your arms and you say, I'll never let you go, my sweet baby. You'll never let me down. No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
Show me love. You show me love.
Wake up! Dad, wake up! Wake up! Conga is here!
Enjoy the Conga Media Shopping Festival deals and free delivery in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Plus a 10% discount when you pay with your Access Bank card from now to the 30th of June.
Conga, the e-commerce group you trust.
Oga Panebita, I have brought my car for full body work.
Madam, look, we will shine this car.
Wait. This cough doesn't sound good at all. What are you doing about it?
Oga doesn't want to go to the hospital so that they won't say he has COVID-19.
No now. Cough is a sign of different infections, including tuberculosis. You would only know which cough it is if you go for testing.
Kai, I've been coughing for more than 2 weeks now.
There's no need to fear. I have done this test myself. To know the right treatment for the particular cough you have, you must first get tested.
Oga Chekamo, make you dey sure because
Who no go?
No go, no.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. Call the National TB hotline on 3340 for information on where to get a free test. You can also call the NCDC hotline number on 6232 for information about where to get a free COVID-19 test.
Hey there, heard about the Netflix mobile plan? Yeah, the new one that allows you watch loads of movies on your mobile phone for just 1,200 naira monthly. I bet you're going to enjoy yourself without anyone disturbing you because it gives you access to all movies and shows on one screen. Perfect quality for your smartphone and tablet. Plus, it works on all iOS and Android devices. And it's designed specially for you. No squatters this time, just you. Sign up on netflix.com today.
Tasty and yummy. Tasty and yummy. Taste the fun. Taste the fun. Call all your friends now. Call all your friends now. Enjoy your mini noodles. Mini noodles. Taste the fun. Mini noodles. I really love it so. Mini noodles.
Mini-Me, taste the fun.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Welcome back, 99.3 Nigeria Info. And big hat facts today is our road to 2023. Dumebi Kachikwu is the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress. And media mogul has made a name for himself telling stories. And the most important story I can imagine Kachikwu has to now tell us is what is the number one thing that he thinks will make a difference in the life of the everyday Nigerian, which has propelled him to become his party's candidate and seek the nation's #1 job. Don't forget to get us on WhatsApp 0809-597-5805. Again, 0809-597-5805. Interesting comments I'm seeing already on WhatsApp. Lagos, of course, we'll talk with Kachikwu at some point too on what they think about your bid for the country's #1 job. So, what's that #1 thing, Dumebi Kachikwu?
Well, I don't have a #1 thing. I will say that this is this will be a primary focus, and I will tell you why. Nigeria is like a bucket that has multiple holes. If you stitch one hole, the bucket is still leaking. You have to have a multi-pronged approach to the multifaceted problems we have in Nigeria. So if you say your focus is security, what happens to light? Like you saw what happened whilst we're on right now. Okay, so we have to have a multi-pronged approach to all these problems that we have in Nigeria.
Right.
Okay, but I believe that to start to tackle these problems again, we first of all have to determine what our common charter is, who we are as a people. I think that once we can identify that, that is going to be the rallying cry that will propel us to solve all our problems. My job as president of Nigeria is to envision, okay, is to show the way forward, provide a vision, put the right team in place to go implement that vision for all Nigerians, is to try and get all Nigerians to rally around my vision, okay, and if you can't get the people to buy into that vision, to rally around your vision, you are not able to face all the multifaceted problems affecting us. So I like to say that Nigeria is a nation of sinners in search of a saint, right? That's who we are as a nation, and we all have to understand that this is who we are. Okay, no saint there. Everyone is saying, but we just have to then now come together and say, are we going to continue on this path, or are we going to take a totally different path and see how we can rescue ourselves from where we are going to, okay? And that's my job as president of Nigeria, okay? Charting us in different direction and getting people to buy into that vision and getting all of us to work towards that vision.
So tell us again what that vision is. So people who are listening, for example, can understand this is the Dumebi Kachikwu vision.
Okay, first of all, I believe that we need to start building a country that works for everyone. We need to start understanding that we need to lift the weak, the poor, okay, and the elderly. We need to bring them all up. We need to start understanding that we have to be in a country where we promote meritocracy and demote mediocrity. We need to be in a country where all men are equal before the law. There's no different law for the weak and poor, different law for the rich and the elites. We need to be in a country where we understand that education is a right for all citizens. We need to be in a country where we don't have two school systems or two public health systems or two systems for everything for the rich and poor. We need to be in a country where we should all share equitably in our pains and in our joys. We need to be in a country where when you do the crime, you are short of doing the time. We need to be in a country where we have world-class infrastructure. We need to be in a country where we understand that we should no longer be thinking about just talking about awarding contracts for highways, whereas the world looking at broadband as a highway of the future. We need to be in a country where we understand that broadband is a fundamental right for all citizens. We need to be in a country where we know that half of our population, almost half of our population, they are unemployed or underemployed. And we need to promoting Nigerians as our greatest asset, as against looking at oil and gas, also other sundry items as our assets. Also, we need to be in a country where all men understand that we stand under the banner of love. We are in a country where we hate ourselves. We don't care for ourselves. We don't care for ourselves in Nigeria. I see this every day. It makes me very, very sad. Every bad thing that happens in Nigeria is just part of a news cycle. You hear it, you move on. Most people don't realize that 30-something people were killed in Benue State some days ago. As a nation, it doesn't touch us. We don't feel it. We are desensitized to a lot of these things. You know, in America, almost 2 weeks after the killings in the school, they're still talking about it every day. Still headline news. In Nigeria, it happens. Look at the killings in our war. It happens. We're desensitized. 2-3 days in the news, and we've moved on from that, okay? We are desensitized to all the things that happen to us because the Nigerian syndrome has taken over our hearts and our minds, okay? It's become commonplace to us. Everything that happens is commonplace, right? It's normal. It's normal to have murder happen almost on a daily basis. It's normal for trade in human parts to be happening. It's normal for people to be kidnapped. It's normal for us to be in a country where we have hundreds of kids still in kidnappers' den as we speak. It's normal for us to have victims of the Kaduna train bombing incident still to be in the kidnappers' den. And you see our president and our government having meetings, laughing, having a convention, and there are people there left to their own devices. We have to start living in a country where we care about everyone.
And
where your problems
great point in terms of a bucket where there's several holes. I mean, anyone coming into office is facing a nation in crisis in almost every sector. You mentioned education. Even if you don't have the children abducted in some of the states in this country, you have the tertiary institutions, polytechnic and university students out of school.
Exactly.
And this is a defied solution in terms of how this can be dealt with. What are your thoughts if you take education for instance?
Let me tell you what the biggest problem I see there.
Right.
Almost 2-3 decades of the same problem. Do you know what I see there? The two parties have no vested interest in the education. Their kids are all school overseas. Okay? They have no real vested interest in the education. And that's why these kids are left to suffer. I remember I was a student activist, and at that time when this riot started and then lecturers would go on strike, I remember most lecturers then were sending their kids overseas to the UK, to America, right? And we who were fighting for Nigeria, fighting for them to have better paychecks, school was closed down and the lecturers' kids were overseas. We see the same situation today. Their kids and grandkids all school overseas. Those in government, their kids are overseas. And then the people who suffer are the poor Nigerians who can't afford to school overseas. Until we understand that these two parties have no real interest, we will not be able to do anything. Well, here's what I want to do.
Right.
My first act as president of Nigeria will be to send a bill I call the Nigerian Patriot Act to the National Assembly. It's a bill that says we're all in this together. We'll all share in our problems. If you're a public servant, your kids can't school in foreign schools.
Right.
If you're a public servant, you can't have a generator in your house. If you're a public servant, you can have a borehole in your house. If you're a public servant and you're traveling within Nigeria, except it's an emergency, you will travel by road so you can know what our roads feel and look like. If you are the director of a company that has its license for primary operation from government, this also applies to you. Tell you what, if we as the elites know that we have to use the government hospitals, trust me, those hospitals will be functioning within 6 months. Our schools will all be working if we know our kids have to go to those schools. As long as our kids are not affected, they don't have to use those schools. We are good. We are paying $10,000 per term for our kids to go to schools in good private schools in Nigeria. But if our kids have to go to these public schools, trust me, those schools will be working. The hospitals will be working. We're in a situation as a country where in the last 2 years, a lot of our doctors, medical professionals left Nigeria for foreign shores.
Right.
We didn't care what just happened. In the midst of a pandemic, this was going on. No one said anything. And our middle class are checking out of Nigeria all the time. The middle class is the mainstay of any economy, of any society. And we're seeing these people leaving Nigeria to Canada, to the UK, to America. Every day someone is leaving Nigeria. We're not saying anything. Guess what's happening?
Right.
When they leave with their talents, they leave with their savings. It leaves the Nigerian economy. Who's going to build Nigeria? And we watch this happen. And this is happening because there's no security in Nigeria. The economy has failed spectacularly. Our government seems like they are completely clueless in tackling all the myriad of problems we have in Nigeria. So we're seeing this happen. And tell you what, you know the biggest mistake we make? We fight ourselves.
Right. So
we don't look at these guys.
Right. So Dumebi, you know, great ideas and the vision you sort of encapsulate in what you say can happen if, for example, you're elected into office. But there's also the issue of the National Assembly. A lot of what you talk about will have to go through legislation. People for many years have complained either the National Assembly is too slow or is not on the same page on many of these issues. I remember there was a legislation asking lawmakers don't let public office holders send their children to schools abroad. It didn't even get past the first reading. They kicked it out. So
yes, I worked and I encourage Honorable Sergius Ogun on that bill. Okay, it's evolved from the bill. If you check Nigerian Patriot Act, I put out about 2 years ago. Okay, so the bill I was going to sponsor. Tell you what, yes. We say this, we know this, but what have Nigerians done? What are you doing about this? You want a National Assembly that works, right? So what are we doing? Parties like the ADC, we said that if you are a youth, come run for free on our platform. Women, people with disabilities, come and run on our platform. Because we want to populate houses of assembly, National Assembly, with people of a different mindset. How many people responded to this call? How many Nigerians are running for office that are not the old brigade or the old order? We like to talk as a people, but when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to doing or walking our talk, we just don't do it. That's why I said Nigerians are going to be on the ballot. You see Nigerians in a lot of different fora, talking, chatting, Twitter, everything, saying all sorts of things. But you are talking. Go walk your talk. Go pick up the form and run for office. They didn't do this. These are very smart people. You have the energy to chat on Twitter all day. Go run for office. We cannot let these people continue to be the only ones running for office. Right. You don't want to run for office, but chatting on Twitter all day is like being in parliament. Contribute your quota by being in office.
Right. Let's get to the People's Parliament, which is Lagos State here, and where a lot of people are listening in on our road to 2023. Last time I checked, we got over 6 million people on the voter register in Lagos State. To probably be close to 7-8 billion. We hope that we we defy the odds of the past, where the Southwest hasn't often turned up for ballot. Going by what we hear on radio and on the street, it appears people want to be repentant and decide their future for themselves. The number to call 0700 993 993 993. Again, 0700 993 993 993. We have with us Dumebi Kachikwu, who is the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, and we're taking also messages on WhatsApp. The ladies' line, 014657190. Again, 014657190. So maybe we're taking maybe 2-3 calls because we are far pressed for time, and you can react to them once we have them. So let's take in the first call. Sorry about that. Do call back. Hello and good evening.
This is Samuel from Oboh.
All right, Samuel, let's make this quick. All right, looks like Samuel went back to Eagle Square. Hello and good evening.
Hello, Aghogho. Good evening. This is Achike from First Stack.
All right, Achike, let's do this quickly.
Yeah, I agree with the candidate there. I can see he's a man that might not have the power of the other parties, but he has the ability. So my question to him is that, what was his counter for our favorite line that these smaller parties do not have structure? And if he wins, how does he plan to counter his party not really having people in Senate and Reps position? Those are my questions.
All right, thank you very much, Achike. Dumebi, did you get that?
I got the question. Actually, it's a brilliant question. You get that all the time. So, two things.
So let me do something. I just wanted to show that you heard. So I'll take in just one more call and you can then respond. Hello and good evening.
Hello, good evening, Aghogho.
Aha, great to have you, Eze Doom. Let's do this quickly.
Eze Doom from Silver.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Dumebi.
Good evening.
Actually, I did not believe that Nigerians are the problem. The problem are the politicians. Nigerian politicians believe that they are the best. They don't want to support another person. I am not happy with the way the answer the Dumebi gave you on the prospects of forming coalition. ADC doesn't have the clout to win the presidency. Now, throughout the world, smaller parties put together to rescue their country. ACN, CPC, and other parties form coalition and throw away PDP out of governance. If you really believe in Nigeria and you don't know and you know that your party don't have the structure to win the presidency, it will be a disservice to Nigerians if you don't enter coalition with other progressive parties to rescue Nigeria from APC.
All right, thank you very much.
I want him to change his stance. Winning Nigerian presidency is not only speaking grammar. It is forming the coalition and being on ground.
All right, Ezedum, thank you very much. And I wish you could see the dashboard. Got so many calls trying to call in. Most of the messages do maybe around this coalition thing. So I'll summarize all the messages they're sending on WhatsApp. A lot of people appear really interested on your thoughts about the coalition. So I guess you respond to the call. Right, go ahead, please.
Okay, so the first question. The first question is about issue of structure. Okay, prior to the primaries, in trying to counter that, okay, my party, the ADC, we told Nigerians, okay, all Nigerians, if you're a youth, if you're a woman, if you're a person with disability, come take, you can run for free. Come and go through the primaries, okay, for free. So that way, if you have something, if you're patriotic, if you have something to offer to your nation, okay, this is the opportunity for you to do that, okay. So we put it out there. What was the response like? It's very poor. My party was not the only party to do this. Some other parties did that. Nigerians didn't come to join us. And let me tell you now, guys, why it was important, right? A party structure is not a building. A party structure is the aspirations of all the people running for office. Down ballot, up ballot, the aspirations of everyone, okay? So it starts from the House of Assembly guy. His aspiration is the first structure. The House of Rep now comes to build his aspiration on the structure House of Assembly has built. Senate layers his own on that. The governor governorship guy builds his own on that, and then the presidential aspirant builds his aspiration on the structure those guys have built. That's how a structure is built. It's built on the aspirations of people. Now, where you don't have the aspirations enough so you have people running for all the offices in the land, what do you then do? You are then depending on the people. You are depending on a mass movement where the people undertake and say, hey, this is our job. This is our movement. We'll do anything to take out these people. Similar to what happened when APC came in, okay? APC came in, and what happened? They mobilized people, they marshaled people using social media, everything, and they kicked out the Jonathan administration. That's what they did. The people formed those structures. APC didn't have candidates across the country, right? But because of the bandwagon effect of the presidential win, people then won. Answer to the second question is, what do you then do in the National Assembly that is not your party candidates? What happens is, typically in Nigeria, what we see is that when you have a president who has emerged, everyone wants to be part of the ruling party, and people immediately start looking at how they will defect and what have you, okay? But tell you what, is that ideal? That's not ideal. With the new electoral law and this new system, what we're hoping is that when you have a country that works for all, people realize that opposition is key to the workings of any government. So, as a government, you realize that it's important to have the checks and balances of the opposition.
We're out.
Finally, to last question.
Let me just summarize and help you for that last question. Will you
be willing? I want to answer each of them.
Good. Will you be willing to work with Peter Obi? Is what they're asking, actually.
Tell you what, right? There are leaders of thought in Nigeria, okay, who have been speaking to me and been speaking to him, okay, about working together. And we understand that strategically, right? The conversation is too early. We will have that conversation because it's important for both of us to be in the game at this time. At the right time, we'll have the conversation when we'll have edged out the two other parties, so people see us as the prime candidates to take over government.
We're going to have to leave it at that. And we're going to have to leave it at that and keep the cat. Keep it in the hat and see what happens in the future. Thank you very much, Dumebi Kachikwu, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress. It's been great speaking with you.
Thanks, Oboh. Thanks for having me, Aghogho.
All right, great. And so that's it on Hatbacks 99.3 Nigeria Info. And we'll bring you some more candidates also too as the days go by. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, time for the news, and after the news, we'll talk some more. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.